tomorrow in class, I'm going to have you guys look at our product rule again. We looked at it during block day. But the product rule says when two numbers with the same base multiply, the exponent powers add. So all that's saying in slightly fewer words and in an example over here is if I've got 3 to the 4th power and it's multiplying 3 to the 6th power, that allows me to take that 3 and take those exponential powers and add them together and get 3 to the 10th. Because really all this is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. And it's multiplying 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 6 times for a total of 10. Now the key here with the product rule is there's actually two things that have to be true. One, they have to be the same base. That's why for most of your mathematical lives you have not had to worry about this rule, because most of the time you're not multiplying the same two things. It's 2 times 5, it's 7 times 2, it's 3 times 8. And the last thing is it has to be multiplication. No addition, subtraction, or division is allowed. So in every single one of these problems, what you're going to see is that every big letter is multiplying. That's what these little asterisks represent on the page. So in this first problem, x to the 6th times x to the 7th, really we have x times x times x times x times x times x, and it's multiplying, so I'm going to use a little asterisk right there, x times x times x times x times x times x times x. And when we look at this whole thing together, everybody's multiplying, so it's all multiply to really just give us 6 plus 7 for an easy answer of 13. If we have multiple letters in the same problem, we still have to have both of our criteria. We still have to multiply, and we have to have the same bases. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this as x to the 4th is multiplying x to the 2nd, and then y to the 8th is multiplying y to the 7th. So we're going to reorder them. Take the x's, we get x to the 4th plus 2, which is just x to the 6th. We take the y's over here, y to the 8th plus 7 gives us y to the 15th, and the final is we multiply, and that's the answer. We are done. It is simplified. Ding! And we're done. Most of the time, we don't have to have all of this work for these types of problems. We can get away with it a lot quicker. On a problem like this, its first glance looks like, oh no, they're not the same bases. But if we reorder the problem, we have 4 times 5 times x to the 8th times x to the 3rd And all we do right here is multiply like normal. 20. Over here, we have the same base, and we're multiplying use the product rule. X of 8 plus 3. Take the whole answer, and we get 20x to the 11th. And we're done. All right, let's speed up the process here. We're going to show much less work. So I'm going to use different colors to kind of help us out here. The 6 and the 2 gets me 12. I have x to the third, x squared, so it's really x to the third, not 12, sorry, x to the second. I was still thinking the 12 earlier. Those add together, and we get x to the fifth. I like this arrow, so I'm gonna draw an arrow for the 12 as well. I'm gonna go back in time a little bit. All right, and then we've got the y. So I've got 7 of them. They're multiplying 4 of them, which gives us y to the 11th. And we can add the multiplication dots in at the end if we want. And we are simplified. Ding. All right, 2 last ones. Even if you have multiple letters, even if you have more than just 2 terms, I'll move it again. The same process applies. Again, I'm going to go through and I'm going to use my colors. This time I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive about it. I'm going to circle everything that's the same. So I've got 5 times 2 times 7. So that gives us 10. 10 times 7 gives us 70 to start off our problem. Then we've got the x's. X to the third, x to the fourth, x to the fifth. Adding these all together, that's 7 plus 5, x to the 12th. On my black pen. And we're simplified. The only thing you've got to be careful about on the product rule is there is no addition signs allowed in these problems. The minute we have a plus sign, the rules are different. That's why the entire year we haven't really worried about this. All right, last problem for our product rule. I'm going to use my colors here again. 3, the 5, and the 4 are all the same because they are just numbers. So we treat them as normal. 5 times 4 gets me 20. 20 times 3 gets me 60. From there, I'm done with the numbers. I'm now going to look for my x's. So I've got x to the fourth, not that one, and x to the third, which means I've got x to the 7th. We then have our y's. Y to the 4th, y to the 7th, which means I've got y to the 11th right there. For a second there, I thought I had the same problem I did before because I ended with a y to the 11th. We're simplified. And we're done. That is the product rule.